Hi, this is Andrea with the Comic Book Syndicate doing our Avengers episode. We're reviewing Avengers Age of Ultron, so stay tuned.
Much better than the first one. The first one was a really popular movie, but I think most people admit the story was not that great. The banter by Joss Whedon was actually really forced in the first one. In this movie, the banter was non-stop laughing for me the first third of the movie. And every line hit, every scene hit.
I loved all of the character designs that showed up, especially Ultron's and Vision's, which was surprisingly one of my favorite parts of the movie, because I love Vision, but I didn't think I was going to love him as much as I did, because they had to change a lot from the comics, since Ultron's originally made by Hank Pym instead of Tony Stark, so that incorporated really well, and I actually thought it was a lot more cohesive than the first one. All of the characters' dynamics worked a lot better. They weren't just I guess we gotta work together now. They were like friends, and they had party banter, and they had been doing this for a long time, and you could tell. The movie started, and right off the bat, I got it. I got their dynamics, I got the way that they fought together. I thought it was great.
I absolutely hate 3D. I watched half of the movie with one eye shut because I can't stand 3D.
Really?
I absolutely
You don't
hate it.
like the way that your brain is wired to perceive life?
Well, no, that's real life. This is fake 3D.
I know,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
But,
How is it fake 3D?
I love the first one. I think the first one was like a new benchmark for comic book movies. And same with this one. This just ups it one notch.
I think the reason that the plot was better was because it was created and driven by the characters. It was something that Iron Man created. It was something personal to him, and there was a personal connection to the plot from us because we care about Iron Man.
Exactly.
He is obviously the most, I don't want to say relatable, but the character who's the easiest to connect with for the audience. Everyone loves Iron Man. He's hilarious, and he's damaged, and he's just a really good character.
I thought it was okay, but as far as ensemble casts go, it was handled really well. They introduced a whole bunch of new characters extremely effectively.
They didn't really feel thrown together, and they didn't feel the need to explain everything as it came, which was nice.
I do agree with that. I do kind of feel like they kind of shorthanded the Vision, because he's just kind of crammed in there right at the end. They're like, oh, we forgot about this guy.
Well, if you think about it this way, he did exist in a box for a while.
I think people will agree the best scenes in the movie are the ones of them just hanging out at that party. I wish it could have stayed that way for the whole thing. It almost felt like once the plot started, it actually slowed it down a little bit. Overall, this movie did have a better plot, but I still think that the strengths of this movie are the character interaction and the dialogue. And once it got to the action scenes, it started to become a little bit more of a video game, just like the first one. And so it is much better than the first one, and it is a good movie, but there's still a little bit of room for improvement.
I thought the Hulk should have been bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. When he's flying in the ship, he fits in the seat, and he's sitting in there, and he doesn't feel hulking. He just feels like a green guy in a plane.
Yeah, he does feel comfortable in the seat.
But same with his proportions. I just think he should be bigger all the way around, because he's...
As a whole, the action was on point. Some of the shots felt a little super tight and claustrophobic almost, where it's like they're cramming too much into a single shot.
Even the slow motion, so that you could see everything that was happening, that didn't even fix it.
Right. I feel like this movie honestly would have been better if they just zoomed out just a little bit.
I didn't really have that much of a problem with those kind of things, because I felt like whenever Bruce was confined, it was because he was feeling smaller, and Bruce's powers are strictly emotional based, so I thought it kind of worked for the whole tone of everything. The end was great. I loved the finale of it, except for the Whedon-y parts.
Another thing I really liked was seeing a little bit about Hawkeye's background. I was really amazed at how easy it was. Just give a man a family, and instantly I care about him a lot more. And he was a human in this. He wasn't just a sort of poster in the background. He became an actual character. I think some of my favorite scenes in the movie were the scenes where he was just alone, and I got to build sort of a relationship with Hawkeye.
Becca didn't like the directorial flair that Joss Whedon brings to it, but I liked the twist. I liked how he played up a character. You're like, oh my god, he's hitting every cliche. Yeah. This guy is going to die.
There was plenty of eye candy, though, because I am now a big fan of Scarlet Witch. I mean, I always liked her in the comics, but in this movie, I thought there was something extra special about her.
It wasn't that special.
You don't think so?
No.
Come.
She was boring.
But what about her face, though? What about her face? It wasn't that nice?
Nah.
Really?
Dime a dozen.
Dang. I haven't seen anyone that looks like her. That's just me
How
though.
about her sisters, the Olsen twins?
Oh yeah, them. Okay, besides them. But I did like her power. There was that great moment where she like backed up in slow motion behind the door and everyone freaked out in the theater.
The way they handled Iron Man and Bruce Banner as these mad scientists that are evil, you know, like they created this world-destroying thing, and their theology behind everything, they're like every mad scientist you've ever met. I just want to save the world and create this awesome machine, or I will eradicate all the impure people or whatever with my laser ray or whatever.
I actually have to give kudos to them for addressing Avengers number 16 when they introduced the second lineup of Avengers, or as the nickname they call it, Cap's Kooky Quartet.
So this wraps up our Avengers Age of Ultron episode with the Comic Book Syndicate. Do you guys have any final remarks? Would you recommend this movie?
Yes, because Joss Whedon.
Yes, but not because of Joss Whedon. I'm glad you're leaving. Go. Coulson lives.
I recommend it because of Joss Whedon. There may be good movies to come, but no one is going to be able to juggle all of these different characters the way Whedon can.
It's a fun movie regardless of whether you like the Avengers comics or not.
The writing, I think, is a big improvement over the original, injecting characters into the actual plot rather than having characters react to the plot. I think it's the way to go.
I highly recommend it. I think it's perfect, 5 out of 5. And also because Michael Bay.
And there you have it. All right, this is Andrea signing off.
Comic Book Syndicate!